All right, everyone, we're going to go over a seller net proceeds sheet here quickly to give you an idea of what I do when I sell a home to whether it's a buyer or seller. As you can see up here, this is Mr. and Mrs. Sold My House. So they are the seller, and there's their name again. The buyer is Mr. Bobby, the house buyer. And then, of course, we have the property address. Those are all components that we need to use when putting together a net proceeds. We're going to come over here and put in a sales price. We're going to choose a contract date as of today. A closing date, we're going to push out a month. Property taxes, I looked a property up and we're going to use this as property taxes. That is for a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home just shy of 1.4 acres. There is no special assessments in this property. There's no special tax district. The hazard insurance, we're going to call that $700 a year, which could be kind of low. It just depends on what you're doing. But for this purpose, we're going to do that. There is no HOA fees. Now, when we scroll down to here, we start getting into the detailed information of both the buyer and the seller. So we're going to start here. Their payoff amount, let's call it $235,000. Let's say they've lived there for quite some time, so they have a smoke and interest rate of 2.5%. There is no second or third on the seller information. So back to the buyer side, we're going to say he's going conventional financing. They're going to put 20% down, which automatically populates their down payment, again, based on our sales price of $749,000. This will be their loan amount. We're going to call it 6.5%. Going to do 30 years amortized. Most lenders charge 1% origination fee and 1% loan discount fee. My personal lender I use does not, so that would be a good thing to talk to me about. As we move through the form, as you can see, the contract sales price, $749,000. Same on the seller side because they're buying it, they're selling it. The estimated settlement charges are down here. So we're going to put in the commission. Now we're going to assume that I negotiated the commission as the listing agent, that the seller is going to pay me 3% and they're going to pay the buyer 3%. I'm sorry, the buyer's agent. So therefore we're putting 6 down. Now that's not a standard. That is not something that is commonplace. It's strictly done per negotiations when I meet with my clients. So you have your origination fee, loan discount fees. Going into here for a buyer side, the credit report is typically $450. I'm sorry, appraisal fee is $450. Credit report, we call it $95. This varies, so we're going to put $750 down. This can vary as well. We're not going to worry about assumption fees. Doc prep, depending on your title company, could be that. There's no delinquencies. We're not paying any costs, so we're fine with that. The interest is going to be generated once we get through the document itself. So we're scrolling down to title charges now, as you can see here. The Alta policy basically insures the property against any liens and encumbrances which may come to light once the property closes. It's kind of an insurance policy for the deed of trust in Arizona. We have the recording fees, any additional settlement charges. So a survey is the home inspection. So we're going to put that down. We're going to put $95 for a termite inspection. I always worst case this and say, okay, Mr. Seller, you have termites, so you're going to have to spend $400 to correct those. We're going to put a cert down just to say, hey, this property has a septic on it, not necessarily show on all occasions. You can see me clicking off some of these things because it doesn't apply for the property we're talking about. There's no land lease, there's no HOA, there's no demand fee. The buyer and seller are going to split a home warranty. Now, if you're not familiar with a home warranty, it covers your range, oven, dishwasher, disposal, microwave, AC, heat pump, water heater, all your electrical, all your plumbing, garage door opener, ceiling fans, washer and dryer, fridge for a year. So this generates our entire closing costs for both the buyer and seller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this, and then we're going to open it up. My screen's going to go blank. We're going to bring it together. We're going to bring it here. So here's our closing cost estimator for the house we just talked about. As you can see, we have our contract seller's price of $749,000. Total estimated costs are just under $50,000 for the seller. Now understand that does include the real estate commissions that were previously negotiated. I personally, when I produce a ready, willing, and able buyer, I can cut that in half because I don't feel the need to go get paid for both sides. But you can see over here, the buyer is going to bring to the table just under $167,000. That does include their 20% down, which is $149,000, and then all the random title fees, lender fees, and things like that. Again, the total settlement charges for the buyer on this, on top of their $149,800, is the $18,649. This can vary, this can change, because again, not all lenders charge 1% origination fees and 1% discount fees. So you have a lender that doesn't charge those two items, you're going to save almost $12,000 out of that. So it's very important to know what you're doing and have somebody who's going to walk you through this process when you decide to become a home buyer. Any questions? Reach out.